hi, we are the Vodafone team, and Vodafone's mission is to tackle inequality, Sustainable Development Goal number 10. And we believe that addressing the digital divide is key to this. So by the digital divide, we mean the gap between those who have adequate data, the right devices and good digital skills, and those who do not. From research in the UK, we know that poverty is a key reason why someone would be digitally excluded. But equally, if you are digitally excluded, this is only going to exacerbate your situation. It's only going to make digital inequality and poverty worse, because ultimately our world is digital. And if you're excluded, you are shut out from essential services, from education, from jobs, from healthcare, and ultimately the opportunity to improve your situation. So in the UK, we know that 7 million people do not have access to the internet at home. Around 12 million people do not have the right digital skills needed for everyday life, and most of those people are lower income. And people in the lowest social group with the lowest levels of digital engagement can pay up to 42% more for basic products and services. And this is why we believe that data, devices and digital skills are a prerequisite to socioeconomic participation and progress. Do you want to flip to the next slide? And yeah, it's not only Vodafone who thinks so. So digital exclusion is now a key issue for our business, but for wider industry, for policymakers, for NGOs and for society as a whole. And we're seeing kind of increasing attention and pushes and in instances funding coming from a UK government, from the EU to address this. And this is something we really want to tap into. But while there's increasing attention and certainly more interventions, there's still much more to do to truly address the issue. Next slide. And how do we do this? So connectivity is certainly part of the solution, but it is only one part of the solution. It's not only about infrastructure, it's also about ensuring that we have activated key digital enablers. So good digital literacy, digital healthcare, digitizing government services. We really do need the support and engagement with the wider digital ecosystem to really be able to address this issue. Next slide. But engaging that wider digital ecosystem is hard, because identifying who is digitally excluded and the reasons why remains a really big challenge. So as mentioned, digital exclusion is a multifaceted issue. So to address it properly, it needs tailored solutions that really do meet the needs of those individuals. So we need to understand where in the UK these digital hotspots are. And importantly, we need to understand the nature of the issue. Why are people digitally excluded? Is there a family that has a phone and they're connected, but actually they've got 4 children, all whom rely on that one device for their homework? Or have you got an elderly person that has internet at home, they've got a device, but actually they don't know how to book their GP appointment online? We believe once we understand digital exclusion at this really granular level, then we can deploy solutions to address the issue much more effectively.
Thank you, Phoebe. Yes, so it's clear there's a very significant issue here, and there's a lot of resource and time and effort going into solving it. And this is where we think Vodafone has a role to play in helping direct that resource appropriately. We can use the anonymized aggregated metadata and big data resources we have in-house to really provide this level of granular data and hotspotting across the various issues to help all the various stakeholders engage and drive through on the solutions. There's a number of connectivity and devices data points that we already collect, and we have a big data team who's good at managing these, anonymizing it, and playing with all the data privacy that we need to make sure that it's a safe solution. We can then also pull in the various free-to-use socioeconomic data sets collected by governments around the world to provide that level of different input and provide a really granular level data on the different topics and potential issues in place. Next slide, please. So yes, so this will then help all of the various stakeholders, be it the governments and the local councils who are looking to deploy their resources more efficiently, or the NGOs who are looking to engage on the topic, on the ground solutions, have the resources but don't know best where to put it, or the industry players like Vodafone who are looking to play our role in society, but again, aren't quite sure where the best and most efficient use is. And we can provide this information at a regular update so you can track progress, understand what's working where and how to replicate that elsewhere. And also then address each and every one of the issues. It's no good Vodafone going in and trying to address a solution on digital literacy if actually it's an affordability issue as well. We also then need to work with the government on providing that level of affordability. And this is where having all these factors in one single metric and map will be useful. On the next slide, the kind of key topics we've considered and need to be aware of is one, it needs to be free to use. It needs to be free to all the stakeholders. We don't know who will use it. We don't know what solutions they'll gain from this, but we need to provide it for them at free access. There is some challenges then of how to make this a business model. There's a lot of benefits and the more intangible benefits you can gain from this. It's part of our social contract, it's part of economic growth. There's a lot of money out there looking to solve this issue, and we can help direct that and have an internal benefit which justifies the internal resource. It's not a high cost product to develop, but it will take some internal resource. And again, the data privacy issue is a key one. And again, we're working with our big data team, with our privacy and security teams to make sure that we have that in place from the outset. We're also aware that there's a significant need once we have these teams engaged and we've proven our pilot, which is our next step, to then scale it. It shouldn't just be a Vodafone thing, it should be an industry-led project. We have some data, others have more data. We want to go beyond our own footprint and really drive this solution across the UK, Europe, globally, to help tackle these issues at scale and at pace. And then we really just want to get to that point where digital divide is no longer a socioeconomic anchor around people. They can really access the digital world and progress economically and really tackle the SDGs we're looking to solve. So I'll end there and welcome any questions, unless anyone else on my team has anything further to add.
All right, I think we're doing really good with time. So 30 seconds if anyone has anything else to add. All right,
No.
if there's no further.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything. So.
All right, excellent. So Mary, I think we can start with you now.
Great presentation. I particularly liked how you went deep to understand. I keep on saying what, why, and how. If you know the three, then you're good to go. So you dug much into that, which is great. I think digital divide too, it's wide. During COVID, I think we've really seen what digital divide means. And I think my question was basically on the scaling part, because I know this is not just a problem for the UK people who are marginalized or something like that, but I didn't get very clearly. You mentioned about it, but I didn't get clearly how your plan is to scale that up to other countries. But I think that's very super important and critical during this time and even beyond COVID.
Sure. So of course, as a first step, we need to go ahead with our internal processes, and one that is done as Phoebe and Andy said, we want to make it an industry initiative because of course, as Vodafone, we are just one of many players on the market, so we do not have all the data. So in order to make the impact, you really have to have everyone on board. And GSMA, for instance, is one of those associations. That is present in every continent, I believe now. So hopefully we can use this forum to push that forward. If not, we will of course search for other partners. As we said, the ecosystem is quite large. So telcos is one thing, but we also have to talk to service providers, to device providers, etc., etc. So it is indeed a very comprehensive exercise, but we do see the value of making it big rather than smaller.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All
if I
right.
just may add, sorry, something. So what
Please
we're planning
go on.
also on doing is, starting in the UK, engaging with the different internal stakeholders, big data team, government affairs, and then potentially scale it first at a European level and then at a global level, because we're a global company and we want to tackle the issue at a global level. That's our ultimate goal, if we manage to succeed.
Awesome. All right. Joseph, you seem to have something.
Yes, I do. I know you're in the middle of this. Have you gotten any numbers in terms of what the total investment would be on the back end, right? Once you get the insights and the data, how big of a project are we talking about? Because you have hardware, you have infrastructure, other cost considerations. What's the enormity of it?
We do have to get into nitty-gritty still, but what we really hope for is that we have already existing established big data team within the company that we want to use for this purpose, or repurpose a little bit. So we hope that for a company the costs will be marginal, and we will try to build the business model so that it is marginal, so that we get a buy-in, and then in terms of scaling up, it will be next stage, and we will get into nitty-gritty at that time.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome. Helen, you close out for us.
Oh, thanks. Well, I mean, I think that you had my fellow kind of judges have made some excellent comments. I do think it's really important to engage, and you've identified this, the policy team, because clearly, there are barriers to accessing and some of the services that create the digital divide. So whether it's they don't have internet, they don't have phones, but those are not necessarily things that you could solve. There will be a need to make to drive some kind of policy change and get other support. So I think the more networked approach and having a team to build those relationships and maybe take more of a leadership role in the UK to drive it forward and put pressure on the policymakers and others to help address the issues will be a big part of this. Because if you build it and they can't come to it, then it's then all that investment is not really valuable. It's not doing what you want it to do. And I think the social aspect of this is quite massive, a massive part to tackle.
Yeah, we agree 100%. And I think our first step is to create an internal multidisciplinary governance team, lots of different competencies that can, interact with different stakeholders and engage with different parts of society to make this happen. So,
and then, of course, the global rollout. I think I agree with Mary. I think there's definitely huge potential to try to address this issue in low and middle income countries and lower income settings around the world. Yeah, that's great. Good luck.
Thank you.
The societal part is extremely important that you mentioned, because on one hand, this problem persists for many years. And of course, there are many reasons for that, but also one of them is that we are missing this holistic approach that takes into account various criteria, so that we understand really why people are disconnected, right? So we don't want to connect everyone at any price at one size fits all manner, right? So we don't want, 8-year-old to book his train ticket online if he doesn't know how to use the laptop and online platform. So that's the purpose, to understand the needs of people and bridge this digital gap also on that basis. Because data is information, and it should serve society.
All right. Awesome. The great work you guys are doing. And we look forward to seeing this take full flight. Awesome work, everyone. Thank you for showing up and for delivering an excellent presentation.